Hey guys, meteorologist Doug Heading. I hope you are enjoying your Wednesday so far. It's turned out to be another nice day for us across the Central Plains. A little bit on the warm side, but we do have finally some changes which are going to be moving in as we go through the next week or two. We're going to really start to get some changes in here, which is good news. Remember, the new cycling weather pattern is pretty much set. It's about 95% new, 5% old. And we are in a little stretch, so that is a drier stretch, but so we do know the new pattern is going to have some drier stretches to it. But it starts to kind of ramp up a little bit as we go through the next couple of weeks, which is great news because, boy, do we need some rain. All right, of course, today we're going to be looking at Milton, and we're going to look at some of our changes. Weather 2020 video. I'll be at KOAM News tonight, 5, 6, 9, and 10. Huge shout out to our boys, Superior Roofing and Construction, a 4-state premier roofing contractor. They're local, 7th and High Street. Reach out to Cole, Evan, or Carlos. Numbers right there on your screen. They'll get you hooked up if you have roofing needs, of course. All right, guys, let's jump in. Switch up my screen here just a little bit. All right, so you can see through the Central Plains, I mean, really most of the lower 48. There's not a whole bunch going on. So let's drop down to Milton. Milton had a very defined eye wall last night. As it starts to approach the western peninsula of Florida, it is disorganized a little bit. Now, ahead of it, we're seeing just tremendous severe weather, tons of tornadoes, which is normal with hurricanes. There's a little wobble to the south here on this hurricane, which I'll explain to you here in a second. But that does definitely help out Tampa, but it's a little worse for Sarasota and Venice, and then down toward Fort Myers. Also, notice all these clouds fanning out ahead of the storm, so through parts of Florida, out through the Atlantic. That is the upper level shear, and that's why Hurricane Milton has weakened quite a bit. Look at all the tornado warnings, Central Florida into Eastern Florida. This is still going to be a major hurricane, but it is weaker than what it once was across the region. But look at those clouds. See how they're fanning out all the way up into the Carolinas. So that is that upper level shear that is helping to weaken this hurricane just a bit. So Milton's down to 130 mile per hour winds, which is a weak category 4. The eye wall's trying to replace, if that pressure doesn't drop, because it's way up. It was 902 last night. It's 948 millibars. If the pressure doesn't drop, then we're going to probably weaken to a high 3 or a low 4. And this is pretty equivalent to what we saw with Helene at this point in time, this close to landfall. So we'll watch it. If that eye wall can regenerate just a little bit, it may pop up to 135 or 140, but right now it's down to 130 mile per hour winds. All right, so it's going to make landfall tonight. But here's where it gets interesting because it's wobbled a little bit to its south. So mainland category 3, this puts Tampa on the north side of the eye wall. So instead of the storm surge pushing into the bay, it pulls water out of the bay. So everybody in Tampa really wouldn't have to deal with any storm surge. They would have the winds and, of course, the strong to severe thunderstorms. Now, on the dirty side, the right side, that's where more of the severe weather is. That's where the storm surge is going to be. So really Venice to Fort Myers and south of Fort Myers, that's where they could see storm surge of 10 to 12 feet. And then, of course, the severe weather is a big part of it as well. Moves across the state of Florida, weakens, of course, hurricanes, they have to have warm water. So it weakens as we get into Thursday morning. Once we get into Thursday afternoon, it moves out into the Atlantic. Still a category 1 hurricane as it starts to push away. But as it continues to push away, it'll most likely eventually just weaken down to a tropical depression because just conditions aren't really favorable for much in the way of tropical development once it gets out into the Atlantic. But of course, a lot of eyes on Hurricane Milton, thoughts, prayers, positive vibes to everyone down there. Back here at home, looks pretty good. 85 today, Salina, 86, Oak City, 73 in West Plains. A little bit cooler as you get farther east. Clouds will start to increase tonight. Look at this. Few little showers start to pop up once we get into southeastern Kansas, northeastern parts of Oklahoma by the time we head into Thursday morning. Just a few hit and miss showers, not a huge deal, but don't be surprised if you live in southeastern Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma, if you do see a few random showers trying to pop up. I'm trying to zoom this in. All right, but look at the highs back into the mid 80s by the time we head into Thursday afternoon. As we go into Friday, much of the same, even warmer. Temperatures warm into the mid 80s once again, even some upper 80s near 90s, Salina, Dodge City, and Oklahoma City. But this is when we'll start to see a few changes moving in. Let's go into the weekend. Weekend near record highs. But look in Nebraska, Goodland, you got northerly winds, everybody else southerly winds. And that's due to a front. Now, with the front, we could see a few showers from Topeka, Lawrence, Kansas City, up toward Macon, Kirksville, Missouri. As that front pushes south, we may get a few showers in southeast Kansas, southwest Missouri, but again, mainly dry. But look at this cooler air filtering in. So highs only near 80 in Joplin on Sunday, 72 KC, still 95 in Little Rock, Oklahoma City at 90 degrees. But look at how this cooler air continues to work in. So by Monday, this is great October weather. We're talking about mid 60s, pushing near 70 once we get down in Oklahoma and also parts of Arkansas. Even Tuesday looks fantastic across the region. So we actually get some pretty nice weather as we go into early next week. Now, with the cycling weather pattern, because again, this pattern is just about set, I do start to see some changes. A lot more cold fronts. This another thing I want to mention, this system that is moving in this weekend that brings in that cooler air, that is a classic polar vortex setup for the winter months. And because what we are seeing now will repeat in the winter, spring, and summer, that is going to be one of those massive Arctic outbreaks. So we just got to figure out when, which I'm working on, but that is a classic sign of a weak La Nina where we do get those big Arctic outbreaks. So I'm going to keep you guys updated. Hope you enjoy your Wednesday afternoon. Go Royals. We need them to beat the Yankees tonight. We'll chat soon.